Hello StarCraft fans, this is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. This is a game between Blasted and VampyWorm on Ruins of Seras. I'm not sure if you saw that, but at the top there it showed this is the grand finals of a 1v1 diamond tournament that was held within the StarCraft 2 client. We've been asking this for a long time and Blizzard finally heard us. If you haven't already, sign up for one of those because it's a really fun experience, and if you actually win, then you get a trophy looking like this. So pretty fun stuff. Alright, in the bottom left of Ruins of Seras, we have the red Zerg player. It is Blasted, representing the F Protoss League. I'm pretty sure that F is what I think it is, because that's an anti-pro sign. In the top left of Ruins of Seras, we have the blue Protoss player. It is VampyWorm, representing Team Ascension. And here comes a gateway for this probe heading on out there. And is there going to be a quick hatchery for Blasted? I think there is, based on the mineral count, and indeed, pop. There it comes. So both players are going for some fairly standard stuff. The gateway, I assume, will be followed by a Nexus or perhaps by a Cyber Core. We'll have to see exactly what Vampy decides to do. The probe is heading out and saving up those minerals. Yes, indeed, it looks like a gateway expand for Vampy, feeling very secure. The Zerg player can't do much to kill this because of Photon Overcharge. Put a couple pylons in good spots here, and you can Photon Overcharge your way against any Zergling harassment that comes. A third base coming up for Blasted instead, so not planning on being aggressive at all. This is definitely a 3-hatch. There it is, 3-hatch before pool build. The gas should come shortly as well. The longer he takes to get the gas, the more passive he's planning on being against the Protoss player, which I think is fine by VampyWorm. He doesn't want to see an aggressive Zerg any more than the Zerg wants to see an aggressive Protoss. So we'll have to see what's going to happen here between both of these players. Vampy accidentally has 4 workers on this gas. There we go. He fixes it very quickly. As I take a drink of water. Man, I have some crazy heartburn today. You guys have heartburn? Don't get old. It's the worst. Heartburn is more frequent. I just had like a potato soup for dinner too. I guess that was pretty sodium-y. Anyway, Cybernetic Score coming on up here again, Gateway at the same time, and I hope by now I have found a screener, but just in case I haven't, if you haven't heard, I am looking for a screener for my StarCraft 2 casts. I get a lot of them to my address at falconpaladin@gmail.com every single day. I'm looking for somebody to go through them and find the very best ones and select them for me to cast to make the subscribers happy, because sometimes if I haven't kind of screened them, then I end up casting games that are bad or not as good as they could be and ignoring other games that are amazing. And I just don't have the time to watch them all myself, which is why I'm looking for someone to take that spot. So if you are interested in doing that, hit me up at falconpaladin@gmail.com and I have a job for you. Alright, back to the game at hand. It is an Adept here, Warp Gate research on the way for VampyWorm as well. Where on earth is this Adept? There she is. Boop, there she is. Miss Adeptica. Zerg player instead is continuing to drone up, continuing to get queens. 1 queen in production now. Creep Tumor, Metabolic Boost on the way at the same time, playing very defensively here, which again I feel like VampyWorm is okay with. It's 22 to 26 total Harvesters, Chrono Boost, giving the Protoss player the boost that they need in the early game to get that worker count up and going. And there's the Twilight Council. That is the choice for VampyWorm. That could be for Blink, that could be for Resonating Glaives, but usually against Zerg it's going to be Blink. So we'll have to see how that goes. Zergling running on up, going to try to get some scouting off. The Mothership Core might be able to deny this actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep, the Zergling didn't do enough to dodge the Mothership Core. Did scout off the base, but that was about it. Could have maybe got up here. Really wouldn't have seen much, I guess. Might have been able to scout the Twilight Council from the top of this ramp, though, which would have been good. Anyway, Dark Shrine on the way for Vampy. Look at this. He's not behind, but he is Dark Shrining anyway. Inject Queen. You can do it. Ready, set. Oh, man. I am on a streak. You see how often I'm telling these queens to inject? I am the best. Queen Whisperer. Queen Whisperer I am. Roach Warren coming up. Roach Hydra Lurker possibly. A very popular composition in Legacy of the Void against Protoss these days. And the Twilight Council came up and nothing is being researched. I guess the Twilight Council was just for the Dark Shrine, which is totally fine. A DT rush off of 2 bases seems a little bit odd. Does Blasted have detection is the question. Blasted does not have a lair, so it does not have Overseers, doesn't have any Spore Crawlers either. I just like to see Spore Crawlers from Zerg. I like to see them in the mineral lines of each of their bases, just because they help against Oracles, they help against Phoenix, and they help against Dark Templar, which are 3 things that are very, very possible to come at you from the Protoss. So just keep that in mind. I'm not sure if this will come back to bite Blasted or not, but it very, very, very well could. The lair on the way. Oh, hey, look at that. Did he hear me? Spore Crawler, Spore Crawler, Spore Crawler. Man, sometimes I feel like I can talk to these players, even though it is just a replay. 3 Creep Queens dropping down that creep. Look at that. That is beautiful stuff. Does he have actually 3 Creep Queens? He does. Inject. Oh, timing. Timing unparalleled. Was that a Ling trying to kill this base? I think it was. Look at this creep spread is going to be through the roof. Here come the DTs. And they're going to bypass the queens. They don't want to announce their purpose quite yet. I think they might split up. There's a Spore Crawler, but there are other units to actually kill these DTs. A couple Lings? Nope, that's not enough. A queen? No, that is not enough either. 3 queens, maybe. Spore Crawler under a lot of fire here. Oh, Transfuse on the Spore Crawler, keeping it alive. Brilliant, brilliant play here from Blasted. Keeps it alive just long enough to kill a Dark Templar, but that's about it. More DTs on the way. Overseer morphing in, but I think it's going to be too late. This hatchery, this third base may completely fall to this Dark Templar pressure. If Blasted had actually had units out instead of just queens, he probably could have saved it. And yes, it does fall. The DTs, I think... No, the DTs might actually escape this Dark Templar with 5 hit points left and 3 kills. Hero Dark Templar for sure. Heading back on home and crippling the Zerg economy. Losing that hatchery was massive. It was so big. Not a good spot for any Zerg player to be in. Blink being researched. Stalkers coming on in. Observer on the way as well. Overlord scouts in, sees all this stuff. Sees another gateway coming up. Doesn't see any Stargates, so he knows it's probably not going to be a Sky Toss type thing. Roaches chasing the Dark Templar all the way back home, but I think the move speed, 3.94, 3.15. They are faster than Roaches. I think on creep they might get a speed bonus enough to catch them, but as it stands, they return home, turn into an Archon, because why not? How are the upgrades here? No upgrades for Vampy. This is a little bit out of character. But we'll have to see if Blasty can take advantage of it. Getting Glial Reconstitution. No upgrades for him either. I don't know if you want to come up here, man. I mean, alright, you're going to push in. Nope. Sees the army, backs on out, says that is not a fight I want to pick. I'm going to head home instead, getting a 4th base as well as Blasted. Good choice. I like that. After losing the hatchery at the 3rd, don't be discouraged. Go for a 4th base instead. 8 p.m. right now. 232 for the Protoss player, 122 for the Zerg overall. Resources lost right now, 950 for the Zerg player, 25 gas, 300 minerals, and 250 gas for Protoss, as well as 1 single worker being killed for both of these races. Production tab continues to show a robotics bay, either for Disruptors or for Colossus. Disruptor does seem to be something that VampyWorm likes to do. Immortals on the way as well. Assimilators coming up at this 3rd base. VampyWorm in a very, very strong position. 70 probes to 44 drones. The Protoss player is up. The creep spread is insane for the Zerg player, though. Blasted has that going for him. His hatred of Protoss is keeping him going. Pylon coming up right here, perhaps for some more sneaky DTs to come in and kill this base that he knows is probably coming soon. I don't know about this Roach push. They have no upgrades at all. And yeah, backing out. Nope, standing in, trying to kill some stuff. And here comes the battle. Roaches against Stalkers and Adepts and Archons. The Archons in the front doing that extra damage to Biological, just tearing through these Roaches. And Immortal in the back as well. Not a place for Roaches or Hydras to be running for their lives. Queens need to run too. No, standing on in. The Queens joining the battle and actually killing one of the Archons. The Immortals in the back are still doing terrible, terrible damage, though. The Queens are left to their own devices, and Time Warp almost catching them. The Observer allowing the decimation of these creep tumors, and forced to pull back to a more safe position here is Blasted, continuing to make Lings. And the Queens, what are they trying to kill? I don't know, but here comes some Lings and Roaches and Hydras getting a big, big concave. And there's, almost sniped on the Mothership Core before the recall could happen. And recalling back home is VampyWorm. I think he wanted to do a little bit more damage with that attack, but he did force the Zerg player to make units instead of workers, which is pretty much what he needed to do. The Lings coming on in. He is not done with this battle yet. And then he says, yes, I am. I am completely done with this battle. I'm going to go back home. Or at least fall back just a little bit. There's an evolution chamber here, but I don't think it's been used at all for the Zerg player. So that might be something you would want to do in the next game of yours that I cast Blasted. That would be probably an excellent idea. 74 to 52 Harvesters. VampyWorm has a ton of minerals and not very much gas. Maybe a huge round of Zealots would be nice just to absorb some of the damage and can let your other units like Immortals and Adepts and Archons do the actual damage. to the Zerg ball. But I don't know. Lurker Den is on the way for Blasted. Might be a good thing for him to get some lurkers out. I like that, especially if there are no disruptors. Just because... Oh, just kidding. There are disruptors. There's one. There's one now. Is that the only one? Yeah, one disruptor out for VampyWorm. Surprise, surprise. Oh, a warp in of Dark Templar. They do kill this base. Oh, no. Blasted. 4 DTs filling their oats. Never mind, backing out. A lot of mind changing going on in this game. Units are like, I'm going to attack. And then, nope. Nope, I'm severely outnumbered. I'm going to actually back up instead. Creep spread heading up this path. This time around, Blasted probably wants to get this going up there. Another disruptor coming out for VampyWorm. Does he have no upgrades at all? Where is his army? No upgrades for VampyWorm. I don't know what to tell you. Warp Prism heading on down, has some mischief on its mind to get into the main base and start killing some stuff. Lurker Den just about to finish Infestation Pit. On the way for Blasted, finally getting that +1 missile attack, as well as the pneumatized carapace. Pneumatized carapace. That's such a hard word to say. More disruptors and archons coming up a 4th base. Now pretty much up and established for VampyWorm, about 50% complete. Where's that Warp Prism? Just hanging out. Not doing much right now. Observer, checking things out. Looking at that queen. Looking at that fine queen hanging out there on the creep. And lurkers are morphing in. A bunch of lings in this army as well for Blasted. He has a lot of minerals and a lot of gas. Never mind. He just morphed in a whole ton of lurkers and a whole ton of hydras and spent it. But here come more DTs going after this lair. Oh my gosh, if they can get it. If they can get it, the lings get the wraparound, and they're trying to get rid of the DTs. But no, the lair does end up following. All the DTs die. So that's something of a victory for Blasted, but no. No, I don't think it was. Losing the lair was a massive hit. He can't make a hive now. He has an infestation pit, but he needs to morph one of his hatcheries into a lair and then go to hive, which is going to delay his tech so massively. Oh, Blasted. As much as he hates Protoss, as much as he hated Protoss before this game, he really hates them now. But here comes a push. The Archons are going to be the MVPs here, I think, against this many lings. And the lings backing out. Warp Prism managing to survive somehow. Queen dying. Lurkers getting some spines off. The lings, once again, they don't want to stand in there, but they are. Purification Nova on the lurkers, killing a bunch of them. Corpses flying everywhere. The lurkers, though, causing spines to flank down from the left side, getting a retreat there from VampyWorm. Getting chased away by Roach and Hydra. The Archons are still alive with 9 kills and 3 kills each. That Disruptor has 5 kills. That one has 4. Taking spine hits on the Zealots. Whew. Both players taking a step back. Just taking a step back. VampyWorm floating a bunch of money, but he's pretty much maxed out, so I think that's okay. And look at this. Blasted laying siege to this 3rd base. Saying, you know what, army, you're not going to come kill me. I'm going to go ahead and go after your Nexus instead. Getting a pylon. Roach Hydra doing a pretty good job against this Nexus as well. The Lurker Spines coming right on in, killing an Archon pretty much immediately. The Roaches and Hydras turn their attention, force a retreat back. Purification Nova killing a couple Roaches and a couple Hydras. Nothing too devastating, but more Hydras coming in as well, getting picked off because they are alone. You never want to be alone. Zealot getting killed, though. More DTs coming on in. There are Overseers going right into the Spines. Don't walk into those Spines, Vampy. Woo-wee! Losing a lot. Hydra's cleaning up all those DTs. A couple of Purification Nova whiffs. Can they get the Warp Prism? No. Warp Prism does manage to escape so fast. Lurkers continuing to spine up into that Nexus, killing the Nexus. Holy shamoly, killing that Nexus. Hydra's killing, running away probes. Probe decimation here, 21 kills. I know somebody's going to say decimation actually literally means to kill a 10th of what you're talking about, and way more than a 10th of those probes died. But you know what? It's a kind of a colloquialism at this point. In English, decimate means to massacre. It's pretty much a synonym. Here comes the push. Just so few Lurkers, so few Hydras, and one Lurker dies before it can actually burrow. And now going for the front base, the front door of VampyWorm and the Natural. More Hydras coming on in. Purification Nova killing 2 of the Lurkers. But the Hydras standing on in. Blink Stalkers blinking back. Zealots absorbing a lot of the damage. Disruptors at the front lines. That's not where they want to be. The Hydras killing not any of them at all. And actually Zealots from the back forcing the attention of the Hydras back as well. Do they want to go inside? They do. They just want to go inside the natural base of VampyWorm and kill stuff from this end. Purification Nova killing, oh my goodness, 5 or 6 of the Hydras. The remaining Hydras are going to be chased down and murdered. But meanwhile, Ling attack here. There are no cannons at this 4th base. All these probes are in a lot of danger right now. Hydralisk somehow still alive with +1 attack. And nope, ends up getting killed. The Zerglings killing a whole ton of workers. 37 probes have died thus far, finally getting cleaned up by this army in conjunction with the probes. Meanwhile, this 4th base has been established by Blasted. Okay, doesn't have any workers mining there, but that's okay. Does he not have a replacement lair yet? Blasted. Blasted. Get a replacement lair, you crazy person. So creep spread is not looking great. This active creep tumor can continue to spread it, but it's the only one. If VampyWorm has an observer with this army, he'll probably kill it. Is he not bringing an observer with this army? Units tab. No observers. Okay, so hopefully he doesn't meet up with any lurkers. It doesn't look like he is, just because this is pretty much a roach army right now, and the upgrades are going towards Zerglings and Ultralisks. So the roaches aren't going to be any more scary than they currently are, which is +1, +0. The lurkers, though, again, could pose a problem, just because, again, observer is on the way, but not quite here for VampyWorm's army. 15 minutes into the game, resources lost tab, 12,000 minerals, 4,000 gas for the Zerg, 12,000 minerals, 5,000 gas for the Protoss. But 37 probes dying, which pretty much brings us back down to where VampyWorm is only 10 workers up on Blast instead of like 30. So not a huge loss for Vampy. There we go. Observer coming in to clear out this creep. Yeah, active creep tumors getting destroyed as well. What's that lurker count up to? 4 lurkers, a bunch of roaches, and a few hydras. 5 hydras in there, 12 lings on the way at the same time. The lings could be good. Again, the Archons are the big deal. Colossus here as well with a +1 attack, does 13 damage, 2 attacks for 26 total damage per swipe, which is pretty scary, but not as scary as it was in Heart of the Swarm. More DTs warping in to kill this base, but guess what? Roach Hydra army is here and waiting for you, DTs. How does he... Oh, just kidding, walking away. I was going to say, how does he know? But the answer is he doesn't, because he left at the exact time the DTs actually showed up to kill his base. And it's going to be a race. Can the DTs kill this before the Zerg army responds? And the answer is, we will see. DTs swinging on in their blades, +1 attack there, 50 damage per swipe. And can they get it? The DTs are getting sliced on down. Transfuse used, and they actually save the hatchery. But here comes the push from VampyWorm, getting right on top of those lurkers. Oh no, lurkers left alone. They're not nearly as good alone. Disruptor at the front getting killed, though. That's pretty nice. All the lurkers are gone. Purification Nova killing like 1,800 roaches there. Still a bunch of roaches and hydras left. Disruptor at the front getting killed once more. Archon coming in from the left side, killing that queen. And enough units have died for VampyWorm. I don't know if he wants to continue. Disruptor at the front door again, not quite able on its cooldown to attack with another Purification Nova, but spines from the right side tearing through units here. The Roach Hydra composition taking swipes from the Colossus. Spore Crawler actually killing that Colossus. You don't see that every day. More roaches, more lings, more hydras popping on in. The Immortal falling. Stalkers being destroyed as well. Being chased back home, and somehow, someway, Blasted held that attack. Somehow he saved his hatchery. Somehow he held the attack. I think it was the lurkers over here that helped a lot. The placement there was nice by Blasted. And here comes a counterattack of roaches and lings. I don't think this is enough, though. Yeah, he decides to back out there instead. Blasted here at the 18-minute mark, feeling a little bit circumspect. Another base coming up for Vampy. I like the way he's staying on top of his macro. And again, using all of his gas as soon as he spends it. Not really super well spending his minerals, but here Blasted comes again. These are +1 lings. These are +1 roaches. A swipe, though, enough to moosh back the army. Moosh? Push? I think I said move and push here. For moosh. Oh, it's the exciting music. Lurkers burrowing in an advanced position. They can actually hit that gateway, I think. Yes, they can. And here come the Zealots to absorb a ton of damage here as well. The Lurkers at the front taking a bunch of hits at the same time. Archon splash damaging everything. The lings are getting massacred by these Zealots. Roaches killing what they can from behind, but the Colossus tearing them down. All the Lurkers are gone, forcing a retreat of Blasted. There's nowhere for Blasted to go now, but back home again. Is there an observer with this army? Yes, there is. It's trailing behind. It is super hurt, but it is here and it is available. So any more lurkers? Are there any more lurkers? Units tab. No lurkers available for Blasted. I don't know how he's going to hold this one off. Creep tumors getting destroyed because they are so annoying to Protoss players. Vampy coming around this lane, getting another creep tumor. Yes, indeed, this creep will be subsiding very quickly, getting overlords, getting rallying lings, getting rallying roaches. That is never good at all. Going for the base trade, though, is Blasted. And coming in on this base with 19 workers at it, Blasted not even retreating at this point, instead using all of his focus to take down this base. A whole ton of Zealots warping in. However, Zealots against this number of Lings, can the Zealots hold? Oh my gosh, it's super close. The Roaches and Hydras come in and make the decision for them, ending up completely wiping out that entire Zealot contingent. As the last one dies there, Stalkers come in as well. All these probes taking shots. Lurkers keep being morphed in at the front line. The army for VampyWorm is retreating. I'm not sure if that's the right choice or not. DTs coming in. There's no Overseer in the air for Blasted. And the DTs are chasing away this army. Blasted, good job recognizing what's going on, but no, coming right into the teeth of VampyWorm's army as they try to retreat. The Dark Templar killing the ones that are retreating back the way they came. Lurkers dying as well. This entire Zerg army is just getting surrounded and killed, and it is completely gone. More and more Lings streaming across. Never mind, they say we're going to come back home. 51 to 21 total harvesters in favor of VampyWorm. 22,000 minerals, 7,000 gas lost for the Zerg. 9,200 gas and 23,000 minerals for the Protoss player. Stutter stepping his way, killing creep tumors. VampyWorm might be going for the victory dance here, the victory push. What is left for Blasted? 49 total supply. There are some Lings. A Hydra was there, but it's dead now. Hydra's rallying. Man, watching rallying units die is always such a sad thing. Spore Crawler trying to kill itself. Another Colossus. Can't do it. It's not going to stay in range nearly long enough. Another Queen dies. More Overlords are dying as well. The Lurker Den is going to fall. Can Blasted do anything about this? I really don't think so. 37 total supply. Quickly plummeting, losing all of his production structures. The Observer gets taken down by the Spore Crawler, though. Zealots walking in here, just massacring drones left and right. Spore Crawler getting killed by this army as well. Blasted, I think, is just staying in the game pretty much out of pure spite right now for how much he hates Protoss. This can't be a good feeling for him, I guess. Ling's going for a counterattack. A ton of spines at this base for Blasted. I really think one of the keys to this game was that Blasted lost his lair and never remade it, which seems like a mistake. But yeah, he's just going to hold here with a million spines. Ooh, almost killed that Stalker. Not able to do it. Good blink by VampyWorm. And here comes the army saying, so this is where you're holed up. This is why you haven't given me a GG yet. I'm not sure we're going to see a GG from Blasted, but maybe we will. Coming around the outside, Stalker and, Zealot, Stalker, Dark Templar, Archon, Colossus. The Colossus can outrange the spines. So maybe the Colossus slowly whittles this down. I don't know. This base is not under any kind of protection whatsoever. But coming up the ramp anyway here is Blasted. The Zealots in the front just tearing through these Zerglings. All the spines taking damage as well. Stalkers in the back. That's a GG from Blasted. Blasted is defeated, and VampyWorm has won the game. Wow. Wow. Good back and forth there from both of these players. I thought Blasted was in a really good position. At least early on in the game, he pushed back a bunch of the attacks from VampyWorm, but in the end, I think the DT drop that caused him to lose his lair was pretty much the beginning of the end. The Lurker attacks were fantastic. Lurker positioning was pretty good on his part, but again, the good composition here by Vampy. The Colossus, the Stalkers, the Archons, the Immortals was just too much. Just too much for our Zerg player, and the Protoss took home the win today. Units lost tab real quick. 256 Lings died, 50 Hydras, 67 Roaches, 18 Lurkers, 7 Queens, 5 Hatcheries, and a Lair, as well as a Lurker Den. Protoss lost 69 Zealots, 26 Dark Templar. That's a lot of Dark Templar to lose. 7 Archons, 2 Immortals, a Colossus, 50 Stalkers, 4 Disruptors. Just felt like the carnage was a lot heavier on the Zerg side, which is usually the case, but especially so here today. So that's about it. Thank you so much for watching today. This has been Falcon Paladin with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook, all at /Falcon Paladin. Go ahead and visit the store. There's a link in the description to get awesome Falcon Paladin and StarCraft 2 shirts. Also visit Cbeat's site to get more of his music available at the end of the cast. And until next time, as always, you take care of yourself.